She's a
Tony's going to stop this. This round he's going to go.
The Combat Cast, Episode 12, featuring Liam the Hitman Harrison.
And we are live. Hello and welcome to the Combat Cast. Today, this is episode number 12, and I am joined with the one, the only, the living legend, Liam the Hitman Harrison. So I'd like to welcome the one and only Liam to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome, my man. So to get things started, Liam, I just want to ask you, how did your journey in martial arts and in Muay Thai begin?
I was 13 years old. I was playing a lot of football at the time. And my cousin Andy Alston, who's now a really accomplished fighter, he's won world titles and he's doing really well for himself. He just started and he asked me, he said, do you want to come down to the gym? It's a new sport that I've just found. I said, I'm loving it. I said, it might be a little bit good for you if you want a bit of extra fitness and stuff like that. I was 13 and I was playing football for a semi-professional club, so we're at quite an high level. And I said, yeah, why not? So I went down and I literally fell in love from the first lesson. I think it was more, to be fair, probably the first time I sparred with Andy that I got to spar. And I was like, fucking great. I thought, this is amazing. Yeah. And then, yeah, that were it. I was hooked. And I'd be there 4 nights a week, football one of the other nights a week, and then football on the weekend. So I was pretty fit and I was getting a lot of good hard training in. But yeah, Thai boxing slowly just started to take over.
Interesting. So football kind of got pushed to the background.
This carried on side by side until I was about 17, and when I was 17 I just started fighting like a pretty good level of fighting Thais. I'd just been and fought in Japan for the first time and knocked out their number one guy, and I was still playing semi-pro, and I'd trialled when I was 15 at 3 pro clubs, Leeds, Sheffield Wednesday and Barnsley, and I'd not quite made the cut. So I thought, do I just carry on doing this or do I just chase my Thai boxing dream, which I always knew it was going to be the Thai boxing that took over, and then that's what happened. I just stopped playing football totally then. I do still miss it, and when I do retire from this, I'll probably still join a Sunday team again, just so I can, because I do miss playing football. But yeah, it were always going to be Thai boxing, to be fair.
Interesting. How would you describe, like for yourself personally, the difference between the two sports from like an athlete's mindset? You know what I mean?
Well, football, it's a team game. Thai boxing, you're on your own once you're in that ring. Obviously, you've got to prepare well with your team in the gym. But mindset, when you're in that ring, no one can help you. It's just got to be all on you. Obviously, in football, even if you're having a bad game, the other 10 players on the pitch might not be. So you still might win, even if you don't play well. But if you turn up on a Thai boxing fight, and if you don't play well or you don't perform well, you're gonna get hurt badly.
Yeah. Shit. So when was it that you first kind of realized that you could make a career out of this? Like how old were you?
Probably about 16.
16?
I reckon, yeah. I just started fighting, climbing way up British rankings. By the time I was 16, I was number 2 in UK, and I won the number 1 spot just, I think, a couple of weeks after my 17th birthday. And that's probably when I thought, you know what, I can do all right here. My fight after I won the number 1 spot when I was 17, I went and fought my first Thai, who were a good level fighter, and I knocked him out in round 5. My fight after that, I got flown to Japan and I fought the Japanese number 1, and I knocked him out in round 3. And then I started to think, hang on a minute here, I'm getting more money each fight, I'm getting more exposure. I could go somewhere with this.
Right, and was that like your first time to leave the UK? Or
yeah, it was
like
the first
like
fight
that?
outside the UK. Most people probably go around Europe. I got shipped straight off to Japan, so it was an amazing experience to fight in front of the Japanese number 1 on a big televised show out there. I couldn't believe my luck, to be honest. And then when I knocked him out in round 3 as well, all the Japanese guys were like, oh, who's this kid? He's only
Was it a Muay Thai fight?
Muay Thai, yeah, Muay Thai.
Right.
All the Japanese were like, oh, who's this kid? He's only 17, we'll bring him back. And I fought again there 3 times on that show after that, and I won every time.
Right. And how did you find the dynamic back then in terms of like being a professional fighter? Like, was it something that was quite accepted in your circle, or was it like a little bit kind of unheard of? Like,
probably for me to be so young doing it, because I went to college for about a month and then I just dropped out to pursue fighting. I got a little job on side because obviously the money at that time in the place where I was in my career, still making a name for myself, it wasn't enough to live on. I got a little job on the side, so I was working part time, and then I was just fighting like that. So all my friends loved it, they thought it were amazing. I had a lot of good support from my parents as well. They've always pushed me to chase this dream, and I can't thank them enough for how they were with me. They were the ones who said, why don't you go live in Thailand? They were the ones who said, just fight, just do what, if you're enjoying it and you're happy, chase your dreams. So I can't thank them enough for that. Most of the teachers in my school who knew I was fighting, because I was in the local newspapers and stuff as a kid, I was fighting men when I was 15, so some of the teachers were like, oh wow, this is amazing. Others were like, hey, what are you doing? And then I remember one of them said to me as well, it was an English class and I'd been doing something and I got kicked out of the class. And he said, what do you think you're going to do after you leave here? Be a professional fighter? 'Cause I'll tell you now, that's not going to happen. I remember thinking, right. And I remember, yeah.
Let's fast forward a few years.
Must have been 20 years ago when he said that to me. I was about 14, 15, I'm 34 now, and I've never forgot it. And I've always, I've had that burning it back in my head. So that's always been like my fuel. I'll fucking show you, I'll show you, you know what I mean? So yeah.
Jeez. And how old were you when you first came out to Thailand?
17 the first time. I only came for 3 weeks just to train. I didn't fight. And then I came back when I was 19, and I lived here from being 19 to 21.
Wow. So that was like your grind phase. Were you just
Well, what happened was I'd got my first 29 pro fights unbeaten, and I'd been fighting at a good level. I fought a few decent Thais, but then in my 29th fight, my 30th fight, sorry, I fought a stadium champion. Dual Kongo Dom, he was called. His fight before he beat me, he just beat Anawat. So the jump from what I'd gone from, I'd been fighting down here, and this was jumping into the top level. And he'd had 150 fights, he'd never been knocked down. In round 2, I dropped him with a left hook, and I thought, just same as any other fight this. He got up and he absolutely battered me for the next 3 rounds.
Really?
And I mean battered me, yeah. I lost that. I lost on points.
Yeah.
It was I didn't know how to clinch with the Thais. I couldn't live with him. He cut me with an elbow. He kneed me so hard I was pissing blood for like 3 days after the fight. I took and right hiding. And it was after that I thought, right, I need to go back to Thailand. I need to learn how to fight, how they do. I need to learn how to clinch, how they do, which I did. I came out here and I just worked on my clinch non-stop. I also needed to learn how to score, how they were scoring and stuff like that, and then it'd help set my other main weapons up, like my power punches and stuff like that. I could hide it behind other things, or if I was fighting someone tough like Dual who I couldn't knock out, and then have a plan B to fall back on instead of just being able to look in to blast him out of there. So yeah, I came out when I was 19 after that fight, and then I lived here for I did 6 months on, went home for a month, 6 months, went home for a month, and just did it like that for 2 years. And I got a lot of good experience out here. I probably fought out here about 25, 30 times. I made a good reputation with myself, with all the Thai promoters. Everyone knew me. I fought all over Thailand. I fought in Rajadamnern, I fought in Lumpini, I fought all of the provinces, I fought on TV, I fought down in islands in Phuket and Samui. I literally went everywhere. All I wanted to do was get experience and fight. I was fighting about 10 times a year. I even flew out to Cambodia and fought pro boxing. I didn't even want to do it, but I just thought, you know what?
Why not?
Yeah, why not? I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here. I remember saying that.
I got a good left hook.
Yeah. Well, I can't fight boxing. He went, no, you've got a good punch, it's all right. Yeah. I went, I'm not doing it. He went, it's double the money. I went, let's roll. So next thing, I went to Cambodia fighting pro boxing. I actually won the fight as well. So I had some real good experiences, and that's helped obviously mould me into the fighter I am now, and helped get my name out there and stuff. So yeah, I wouldn't change any of that.
And just going back to what you said about the clinching part of things, I mean, so was that something that you really it stood out to you when you first fought that fighter? What was his name, sorry?
Dual Kongo Dom. He was Romnoy champion. He'd beat Anawat, he'd beat Watara Chaikau Samrit, he'd beat a lot of ridiculous level fighters. Yeah. He'd beat Chanrit Seto and a few other people like that. And at the time, it didn't register in my head, because I'd done 29 fights, I'd probably knocked out about 18 of them. And I was thinking, so what? Just another person. And then I realised then the gulf, the difference, because I'd fought a few Thais by this point, but none of them were elite level. They were good, decent level, good level, but none of them were elite level. And I mean, when he locked me up, he just literally threw me all over the place. And around 3, 4, and 5, his experience like just showed. And that's when I knew I thought, right, I need to go out to Thailand and spend some real time there, clinch every day with other Thai champions in the gym. And GT Gym at the time, when I was training there, when I was living there then, I think they had about 4 or 5 like top 10 fighters in there. Watarachai Samrit came as a coach, we had Raja Savorap in there as a coach, and I had like, so I had a lot of good
big names.
Yeah. I think Watarachai was just coming to the end of his career in stadiums. He was still like really fit and strong. We were only about 30. He was still really fit and strong. And so I got to do a lot of sparring with him, a lot of clinching with him, clinching with the other fighters, just picking up tips, little tricks and stuff from all of them, and just getting that, trying to steal a little bit of each of their own technique and add it to mine, and then just clinching every day. And then when I lived there, I fought, I think, 4 times at Reginald and 4 times at Lumpini. I won by knockout at Lumpini every time. But at Reginald I ended up fighting like 2 top 10 boxers, and I lost just minimally on points. So although disappointed because if I'd have won either of them, I could have been top 10 ranked, it still showed that from where I was when I fought a top 10 ranked Thai and got wiped out, where I'd come to by losing by a round, by 1 point, 49-48 in each fight. It was still like I'd shut the gap and I was up there then.
What about from like a technique standpoint? Were there any small things in the clinch that you kind of were like really big standouts for you?
It was just more, the off-balancing stuff like that, just like the little, just foot positioning and arm positioning, and just the physical strength of a lot of Thais. It still shocks me to this day, even the ones who look really skinny and stuff and don't look very strong, and they've got that wiry strength. It was just learning how to deal with that and arm positioning and being able to put my arm in a position where I'm not going to get elbowed and stuff like that. That just little subtle things like that made a big difference. Like your foot positioning as well. If your legs came together for us too long, I'd be on floor with some of the Thais who were in GTs at the time, obviously. And Watarachai, he was one of the coaches there. He had so many just little subtle stuff where if I put my hip too close to his, I'm on the floor. If my legs go 1 centimetre this way instead of this way, I'm on the floor. And it was just getting used to make sure I'm always in the right position where I could always knee, where I'm not going to get thrown. It was little subtle things like that.
Interesting, man. Wow, cool. Nice, bro. So the next question I wanted to ask, just continuing on this thread of like elite level Thais. So as you know, as most people will know, Liam's fought some of the top Thai fighters in the world. Sanchai, Anawat, Singdam. You and I were just talking about that before.
Yeah.
What was it like fighting someone like Anawat, and then mentally and physically, and then also going into a fight with someone like Sanchai? You know, quite different styles, like knockout artist, you know, hands of stone, whatever, and then like pound for pound, the GOAT, all that sort of thing. How did you find stylistically, mentally, physically?
Obviously, stylistically, Anawat was more of a grueling fight just because of the way he fought. It was very similar to myself. Anawat, hard puncher, hard leg kicker. And the first time we fought, he fucking destroyed me, and I didn't know, I shouldn't have even fought in that fight. But in the rematch, I begged for the rematch to be back in England, and in the second fight, I won.
So pause there 1 second. I don't think a lot of people, after getting TKO'd by Anawat, would have begged for a rematch with him.
Well, my head wasn't right at all. We were out in Jamaica with a fight, and I'd been in Jamaica a week before the fight with no gym to train in or anything. I had to do pads on the golf course and stuff. They told me I'd fight by midnight, 3 o'clock in the morning. I still hadn't got in the ring. All the crowd had gone home. So
3 o'clock in the morning?
All the crowd had gone home because they got bored waiting around. By the time we got in the ring, there were literally about 20 people in crowd. So it was like me, Anawat, hardly anyone in crowd, and I'm thinking, this is ridiculous. And next thing, he was smashing me to pieces, and I thought, oh shit. And I wanted my mind frame wasn't right at all.
Well, fighting at 3 a.m. in the morning is silly, isn't it?
Like to Thais who've had 300 fights, they don't care. They've probably done that when they're having these fights with provinces and stuff, but it were all new to me, that.
Right.
So I begged for the rematch because I knew I could beat him. I knew 100% I would beat him in the rematch. I begged him for the rematch, and I said, like, bring him to England. I said, I want to beat him in front of England and just prove everyone wrong who's wrote me off. I beat him quite convincingly in the rematch as well. But even though I won the fight, he hit me with a left hook in round 4. When I got out of the ring, I passed out, ambulance came, took me to hospital, I had such a bad concussion, they had to keep me in overnight and like just to monitor me. That's how hard he hit.
Wow.
And I remember...
So you won the fight, but you got a concussion from a
in
left
round
hook?
4 he hit me with a left hook. If you go on YouTube, the fight's on YouTube, Liam Harrison versus Anawat 2.
Yeah.
If you watch round 4, he hits me with a left hook and my head flies back. I remember looking at him at the time and he was going, ooh, and I thought, right, call him on. He won't know he's hurt. Yes, I just went, come on.
Yeah.
And he didn't, he stood off. if he'd have ran in and hit me again, it might have flicked me out, do you know what I mean? But that's what I thought, I'm looking at him and he was going, whoop, whoop. And I went, just call him on, he won't know. I went, come on then.
Yeah.
And he didn't, he stood there. So it worked and it gave me a couple of seconds for my head to clear.
Ah, man.
And I remember thinking after the fight, I'm thinking, hey, I didn't get knocked down or anything. I said, how's this happened? Then I thought, oh, that left hook in round 4, that's what I've done wrong. But,
shit.
yeah, ambulance, we were in the after party, I said, oh, I don't feel well. And I like passed out and ambulance came and took me off. And my girlfriend were worried and my mum and dad were a bit worried, but we're all right in the end. But to fight Anawat, obviously, I had to be prepared to go to war and I had to be mentally prepared to get hurt, especially after the first time when he smashed me to pieces. I knew I was going to get hurt, and I had to mentally prepare myself for that. That's it. It's probably how most people must find when they're going to fight me, because you know whether you win, lose or draw or fighting against me, you are going to get hurt quite badly as well, probably at some point in the fight. And that's what I had to prepare myself for. I had to think, right, I know I'm not going to get hurt. It's just going to be part and parcel of it. You get hurt every fight, but this guy's like one of the most feared punchers and leg kickers of recent times. I just had to deal with that and just think, right, you know what? So am I. I can hit just as hard. I can kick just as hard. And I had to like mentally prep myself that way. For Sanchai, I had to be mentally prepared for like, right, I know I might hit fresh air 2 or 3 times before I land something clean, but I always believed in my power 100%, and I always thought if I land, I'm going to do damage on him here. And then that's when I realised how actually not just talent and gifted and amazing Sanchai is like technically, but he's actually one of the toughest fighters I've ever fought. Because in the fight number 2 with Sanchai, I tagged him with a lot of punches, I cut him bad with an elbow right above his eye, and in the end of round 4, he'd literally gone grey in the face because it had been such a fast-paced fight, and I thought, I'm getting through here. I thought I could win here, and then by the time he'd sat down and rested, end of round 4, he came out round 5 and he kicked me about 8 times in a row with his left leg, just bang, 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 and I was like, oh, I've lost now. I was this close. No,
and then just the gap.
But yeah, I realised how tough he actually is in that fight, because when I've watched that one back, I need to get the actual DVD copy on YouTube actually, because that was by far the second fight, by far the best fight. We're actually a proper war. And when I watched that back and I realised how good his chin actually is, I think he's only been stopped 1 time in 350 fights or whatever. So battled by Thongchai when he was 17 years old. So you forget how not just technically gifted Sanchai is, he's a hard man. He's a very hard man. To be doing for all them years of stadium fights where they made him like weighing like 2-3 pounds lighter than the big Thais, just so they've got gambling and stuff like that to make it even. Because if you put him in with anyone the same weight as him, they are getting humiliated.
They're getting destroyed.
So to be fighting, I don't think he's probably not had a fight against someone the same size as him for the last, I don't know, 20 years probably. Yeah. Just because he's always had to have that bit of a thing for the gambling, and for any foreigner to have a chance, you need to be a bit bigger than him. I can say though, when I fought him, he was the champion at 59, and our first fight we're only at 61. It went up at like 65, like most of his fights. Like we fought at 61 kilos, which was basically down near his weight. And I remember at the time, some of my coaches in Thailand were saying, "This isn't fair. Why can't you be like 63 and he has to be 61?" And I said, "I don't know. It is what it is." And we both weighed in at the same weight, which were good. And as for Singdam, I honestly thought, even before the fight and during the fight, up until the end of round 3, I thought, I'm going to stop him. He's one of the toughest men I have ever fought, and physically, probably is the strongest I've ever fought. That was probably my hardest fight against Singdam, like grueling. That was mentally, that was disheartening, because I was so sure at the end of round 2, I had him in so much trouble. I was hurting him with punches. I'd smashed his leg to the point where he couldn't even walk. Like giant hematomas. Yeah, his leg was obliterated.
A balloon animal.
Yeah, and then in round 4, for him to pull the fight back from the brink, and he absolutely battered me all over the place. I remember sat down at round 4 and I was just deflated. I thought, I thought I was this close to stopping him.
Yeah.
And now I've just been battered within an inch of my life. I thought, how has he done this?
Yeah.
I remember being sat down in round 4 and I was exhausted.
Yeah.
I'd spent a lot of energy trying to stop him with my own shots, and then he'd zapped the rest of it by clinching me and kneed me so hard. And I just remember thinking, this is the strongest man on earth. I was thinking, whoa. And then even in round 5, I hit him with some monstrous punches in round 5 because I was just going for broke, swinging about, and he was laughing at me. I remember thinking after that fight, that was like probably it's still to this day probably my hardest ever fight. I've never been in a fight where at the end of round 4 I was almost mentally broke, and I thought, oh my God, I don't know how he's done that. Yeah, that was probably my hardest fight. Mentally, physically, I was just drained after that fight.
I mean, to win Fighter of the Year, right? That's what he won here in Thailand.
Yeah.
I think 2 times as well, right?
Yeah.
So
I've fought quite a lot of fighters who won Fighter of the Year. Anawat, Sanchai, Sagadao, Singnam, Jaran Sap. So I've fought 5 there. That's all I can think of. I might have fought more, to be fair. So I've fought quite a lot of.
What about going on to like foreign fighters? You've also fought a lot of really like high-level foreign fighters. Like you fought Mossab Amrani, right?
Yeah, that was K1 rules though. And
right.
I shouldn't have fought that fight because I failed the brain scan and I've not done any sparring whatsoever.
Right.
And then 2 days before the fight, I was going to pull out because I had not passed. They kept asking me for the sheet and I kept like making lies up. And I was going to pull out and just say, look, I failed. 2 days before the fight, the doctor messaged me and went, oh, we've had a specialist look at you, you're okay to fight? And I'm like, oh, great. I'm 5 kilos overweight. I've not done any sparring.
Yeah.
So I just went and sat in sauna for hours, got me sitting down to wait. And then that's the worst thing. I remember when he came out, he started throwing punches at me because I'd not sparred at all since I'd had the brain scan. I was looking at him and he was just hitting me in the face, and I thought, right, just put your fucking hands up. Just put your hands up there and don't move your hands. And then he body shotted me. Now I had no conditioning because I'm not sparred. I've not took anything. Shit. So I shouldn't have fought at all in that fight.
But that guy's like, I mean, he fights up to like middleweight in K1.
Yeah,
like,
but I've never even fought K1 before.
Right.
My first fight, I got fight him.
You fight like a K1 legend, dude.
Yeah, so that was stupid on my part. But yeah, I've had some good, like obviously Pinker, Mohammed Kamal, and I 100% should have won that fight with Mohammed Kamal. It was scored.
Yeah, that was a good fight too.
I got a bonus.
Sorry, I think that's what I was referring to. Mossab Amrani is a different fighter.
Yeah.
He's also really good, but Mohammed Kamal, he fights up to 70.
Yeah, well, we fought Muay Thai, me and Mohammed Kamal. I got a bogus 8 count in round 1 because I got knocked off balance. I stood on one leg, and the referee gave me an 8 count. And then round 2 and 3, I literally threw him on the floor about 25 times. I kicked him a lot. All he was doing is punching an elbow in.
Yeah.
It was a really exciting fight. It was a proper war.
That was a great
Muay Thai
fight.
Scoring. I should have won that fight. And the one Thai judge gave it to me. The one Thai judge didn't count the knockdown. He gave him round 1 10-9 because he didn't count the knockdown. And then he gave me round 2 and 3 10-9, which is how it should have been scored. So yeah, the Thai judge gave it that, and everyone who I sent it to, like Thai, said, look, did I win this fight? They all said yeah. So it is what it is, really. It's a loss on my record, but I know I should have won that fight. But even to be jumping in against someone who fights
at 70.
Yeah. And
respect to Mohammed though, because he jumps into a lot of Muay Thai, and you see a lot of K1 fighters, they wouldn't do that.
You know what? Kamal was dangerous with his elbows. He cut me twice when we fought. He'd beaten Anawat, Muay Thai, full Thai rules.
Right.
He stopped Zayok.
Right,
with an elbow. Right. Yeah, he was really dangerous with his elbows. I remember I'd watched him a few times. I thought, right, I need to be careful of his elbows. I wasn't careful at all.
Just to go the distance with someone that big and powerful.
He was heavy-handed. I had to like kick and move a lot and tie him up in the clinch. And what I'll try to do is I'll try to throw him on the floor in the clinch and tire him out. And
how do you go into a fight like that mentally when you're normally the one that's like the heavy-handed low kicker when you're versing someone that is probably even more powerful than yourself? Like, how do you go into that?
Although I'm renowned for having a power style, I can fight technically when I want to as well, or when I need to.
Yeah.
And I knew I had to do it in that fight. He would either stand there and go toe to toe with him and probably get my lights punched out just because of his size difference, or end up getting splattered with elbows. Because the 2 times or 3 times in the fight where I just planted myself and started trading with him, I got cut twice.
Right.
Because he were really good with up elbows and finding angles to put it in. So I thought, all right, I just need to keep kicking and moving here. So I kicked, I moved, I tried to fight and score proper Muay Thai criteria, or throwing him in the clinch. I was sweeping him, I would try to tire him out or off balance him a lot. And like I said, the one Thai judge did give me the fight, and then the other, and I think an Italian judge and a Dutch judge they give it to him. But it is what it is.
Man, what a war. You had some amazing fights, haven't you?
Yeah.
Is there any in particular that really like stand out to you? Like what would be, you know, your probably your favorite fight if you had to pick?
When I smashed Andre Kulbing were a good one.
Right.
Because everyone,
he's a good fighter too.
Yeah, everyone wrote me off in that fight, and I moved up weight. I was fighting at 63.5, and I moved up weight to 66.6, and he knocked out the two, number one and number two in England at that weight, and everyone wrote me off, and everyone said I didn't have a chance. But I looked at him and I assessed him. I said, I'm going to stop him. I said, I will 100% stop him. I know I will. And I told everyone close to me, I said, I'm going to stop him with leg kicks. I said, his leg's too straight. I said, his leg is too straight. I said,
he does have a very upright kind of style.
I said, I'll stop him 100%. I know I will. And I did. I stopped him in round 3 with leg kicks.
Wow, man. That's a good scalp right there, isn't it?
Yeah. When my fight with Hussein Banui though, although Banui wasn't as big a name as Kulbin, he was still a good name. He fought a lot of good Thais, he beat a lot of good Thais, and he really, that just the fact that the fight was so insane, and it was on the first Yokkao show that I ever fought on.
I think you posted this on your Instagram too, right?
Yeah.
You guys just going back and forth, like
mentalness,
crazy, yeah.
And I got told off by my coach. He said, "What are you doing? Just technique." I said, "No." I said, "He's coming to England. I am not just going to technique." I said, "I'm not bottling it."
Yeah.
I said, "No, I'm not being a pussy and fighting technique." I said, "He's coming to my home country." I said, "I'm going to war."
He's a French fighter, right?
Yeah. He's very strong, very strong. One of my hardest.
I think he fought Sanchai too, right?
Yeah, he fought Sanchai. Yeah. Very tough guy, very strong.
Tried to kick through Sanchai's shin.
Very hard fight.
Yeah. I remember seeing him kicking Sanchai so many times, and Sanchai just checking it.
Yeah. He just kept doing it though. He kept doing it to me. I was blocking his low kicks with my knee.
Right.
And I could feel his shin hitting my knee. I thought he's going to stop doing this soon.
Yeah.
Round 5, he was still doing it. And I was thinking, my knee's hurting here. I said, so his shin must be hurting. Yeah. And I kicked his leg. His leg looked like a piece of corned beef or something. I'd kicked it that many times. And that was a tough fight. Yeah, that was a tough fight.
So I know we've kind of like covered a lot of things about your fights and stuff, but just for those uneducated fans out there or you know followers that don't know what your style is, if you had to describe your style, how would you describe your style? What sets you apart from other fighters?
Like I say, I think I can mix it up when I need to, but like I will throw down. If you want to go to war, I'm always ready to go to war. Even if it's just going to war for certain parts of the fight and then trying to pull away and pulling some points back, and I think I can do both. I can mix between the two styles pretty well because I'm so explosive. I can like sit off and then point score, and then suddenly just jump into life and like with a blistering punch combination and stuff like that. I think I can fight like Western way, the Thai way. I can do it both mixed together. If I had to describe it though, I don't know.
I think that's a pretty good description right there.
Yeah. It's very fan friendly. I mean, you always get a lot of action. You always know I'm very powerful. Got very good fast twitch muscles, and I'm explosive. And my speed kills as well. It's when I'm fighting, it's not the fact that I'm just punching and kicking as hard as I can. My timing and my speed are my two main weapons. I think probably more my timing than anything else.
So, just speaking of timing, we should go into your latest fight. Yeah. Because that left hook was timed on point. I feel like that guy, what's his name? Sorry, Adam, is it? No, not Adam. The Malaysian boy.
Mohammed bin Mahmoud.
Yeah, it's quite a long name. But he came in, and I feel like you just really waited, and it was almost like a sensor went off in your head. It was like beep, 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 beep.
Well,
bang, hook.
All 3 of my cornermen said to me before the fight, they'd all watched him fight, and no one had knocked him out, or he'd not been stopped, I don't think. So they'd all said, look, he's a bit awkward, he's a bit unorthodox. For the first minute, do not throw any power. Let him get close to you, because he said as soon as you start unloading in them little gloves, no one's going to want to stand in front of you. So the plan was to wait, and I was just touching out, and I almost baited him to getting close to me.
You did.
Because not many people are going to want to come close to me in them little gloves, because if I hit you in them, that's going to be it.
Yeah.
And so that's what they said to me. They went, just wait, and then they said the first time he stepped, bang, and it worked perfectly.
It did.
Yeah.
You gave him like a false sense of security.
Yeah, basically, it was
and he just felt comfortable.
Come on, we got a bag. It was just like baiting him in, really. I'd thrown a few, and even when I throw my jab, I didn't even throw it at his face. I threw it like over there to make him, make him think like, and then, or I threw one and I'd make sure it was just a bit short, you know, just so I can.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
then he can't really feel how long your range is.
Yeah,
right?
what I didn't want to happen was me go out there, just go bang straight away, him take it on his glove and think, oh, that were hard, get on his bike and start.
Right.
And make him
trying to pick you off from the outside.
Yeah,
or something,
and then
right?
me, because he was taller than me, he had the range on me as well. I didn't want that to start happening. I thought, right, let him come close, let him come close. And even one of the commentators said, Liam looks gun shy. I'm not gun shy. And the other commentator said, nah, he's baiting him.
Right.
And right when he said
they called
that,
you.
Boom!
They called him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. And just describe to us that feeling. I mean, because for those that haven't followed one, Liam's had some like pretty like insanely tough fights. How was it coming from those two fights on one and then going into this one?
I know I'd been in there at the highest level against two of the best competitors. One, the weight division above, and two, my own weight division. So I knew going into this one, I'd already been in at the deep end.
Right.
And Mohamed, he was a good fighter, but he's not like the elite level like those boys were. So I've been fighting at the elite level for the last, 15, 16 years. So I'm used to being at this level. So for me, it's nothing new to fight a top level Thai or being there against someone who's a bit more experienced than me. So for when I've got the experience on them, it's good for me. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, with this fight, I was really confident going into this fight, and I said to everyone, I know Mohamed had not been knocked out on one. He'd had 4 fights, so 2 wins on points, 2 losses on points. And I said, I want to make a statement. I said, I'm going to obliterate him. I'm going to get him out there, and I'm going to make it where it sets me apart from the 2 people who beat him on points. Yeah, it's going to set me apart, and it's going to show the difference in standard from me to them. And
100%
it worked perfectly. Yeah, I did a demolition job on him.
Yeah.
When I'm in that frame of mind and my body's working right like that, and I'm not no injuries, I don't think there's many people who'll be able to stand with me under that rule set and those small gloves. I don't think there's many who'll be able to stand with me.
Psychologically, just talking about from like a fight perspective, how do you manage the nerves fighting on these huge promotions? I mean, you fought on literally so many shows now, but I know I saw you put up a post the other day just saying this is probably the worst part of any fighter. If you know the fight game, it's that moment right before you're about to go out, or you're just sitting and waiting and there's other fights happening and stuff and people coming in and out. What's your trick to like handling those nerves? Like, what do you do?
I think it's just the experience over the years, to be fair, because there's always like some little thought or creeping back here, man. What if he knocks you out? What if he does this? What if he does that? And you've got to push it to one side and just think, you're here because you want to be here. You're doing it because you want to do it. No one's forcing you to do it. You've trained your heart out. So no matter what happens, I know I'm going to go out there. I know I'm not going to give up. I know I'm not going to quit. I know I'm going to fight my hardest. And as long as you do that, I always just say to myself, that's all that matters. Winning, losing or drawing. Obviously you want to win and you're going to do everything you do to win. But as long as you do that and you fight your heart out, as long as the crowd have been entertained, which I know they will do watching my fights, I'm always going to be happy. So then that always pushes out any sort of negative thoughts, because I always just think, I know I'm not going to quit. I know I'm not going to be a coward. I know I'm not going to get hurt and give up. I know that's all part of it. I know that whatever happens, I'm going to fight my hardest. And I know whatever happens, the crowd are probably going to be entertained. So that's what I always...
So it's about perspective, really, isn't it?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
You just put the whole thing into perspective.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good point, a really good tip for fighters out there that struggle with nerves. I think you nailed it. Sometimes people get too caught up in like what's going to happen here and what's going to do this, or he might do this to me, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But when you just throw that out and give yourself that perspective, like what you're saying, I think that's powerful, man.
Yeah. I think that if any fighter is struggling with nerves as well, there's a really good mind coach called Vinny Shawman. I've done a lot of work with him, so maybe just look him up on Instagram.
Vinny Shawman.
Yeah.
I'll put a link on for Vinny, so if you guys are interested, you can check him out. I know that on Joe Rogan, you guys talked about that, right? So, and that seemed to be something that's helped you a lot.
Well, I did that after the first fight with Anawat. I knew what Vinny did, but I'd never done it with him myself. And after the first fight with Anawat, he'd said to me, "Do you want to do a bit of work?" And I thought, you know what? I know I'm going to be fit. I know I'm going to be strong. You can't over prepare. So I said, yeah, why not? I said, let's do it. So not to lose by doing it, and we did it, and it worked perfectly.
And I think just from like even how you referenced experience, I think just from what you said, having to wait till 3 a.m. in the morning to fight someone like Anawat, that's like mentally draining, you know, like 100%. The crowd's gone, there's no one there, you don't even have anyone to put on a show for.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what am I doing here? I'm going to get my lights punched out, like one of the best fighters at planet.
There's like 20 people here to watch it.
Yeah.
God, yeah, things like that is going to definitely harden you.
Yeah, 100%.
But if you want to get an even further edge on top of that, other than just experience, then yeah, getting someone like Vinny is definitely going to help.
Definitely, yeah, be worthwhile.
The next thing I wanted to ask is kind of like, I mean, the sport of Muay Thai, I'm sure from when you started, has evolved so much and grown and changed. Where do you globally see Muay Thai these days and the future of the sport?
Do you know what? From when I first ever fought main event on a show in England, it was like in a sports hall, to now they've got filling out 5,000, 6,000 seat arenas and stuff like that. It's growing and growing and growing, and it's only going to get bigger with the likes of One Championship and things like that are sort of pushing it forward and putting it on like the biggest stage out there. It's something for all the young fighters to aim for as well. So every young fighter is going to be watching these like big shows like Your Cow that are going worldwide, and then One Championship, and they're all going to be thinking, right, that's something to aim for. In England now, there's shows every weekend, so you can fight every weekend, trying to get your experience up. Lots up and down the full country. So even for the people who aren't getting on these big shows, who want to aim for them, they've still got smaller shows to like build their experience up and get a name made for themselves. There's junior shows every weekend for all the juniors, and it's massive. I've seen a lot of people who are like a bit bitter because they go, Thai boxing's going nowhere, there's never enough money in it. These are just people who haven't made the most of that and they've had a bad time of it, and they're just saying stuff like that. But I've watched it, I've been there where I've been main event on a show and got paid £500 to the point where I'm at now, getting paid quite a lot of money, making a good living, I'm comfortable, I live a good life, and I've made a very good living out of this sport. From what it was then to what it is now, it's gone like that. The gap's massive. So anyone saying, oh, there'll never be any money in it, but there'll never be this, don't listen to them. I've watched it grow over the last 20 years, and in another 20 years it's going to be even bigger.
Right. So what advice would you have to a fighter starting out that wants to be, they're looking up to you, they're looking up to other fighters, high level Muay Thai fighters, and they're like, I want to be a professional fighter. Like, what advice do you have for them to get to that upper level? Like, what do they need to do? What's the prerequisites for them to be able to get there?
You need a little bit of luck, just a little bit. But as well as that, you need to work hard, be determined. You need to be the first one in the gym, be the last one out. Always be willing to learn, get as much experience as you can. Go to Thailand, train in Thailand, spar with every different type of style of fighter you can do. Get the sparring where you can. And just be disciplined and be obsessed about what you're doing. That's what I were. I always, even now, even at this stage of my career, I'm obsessed. I always want to learn still. That's why I still come to Thailand to train at Your Cow gym with all the legends there, like Sanchai and Singdam, guys who I fought. I want to learn techniques off these guys who beat me because I want to better myself. So yeah, just be willing to learn and put the hard work in. If you do all that sort of stuff, if you've done all that, then the universe will repay you with that little bit of luck that you need. And might just get to the right show at the right time where the right promoters are watching you, and then you'll get your lucky break maybe. But yeah, just keep working, keep disciplined, and have some faith. Keep the faith basically.
What's a training routine like for you? Like an average training routine? Let's say, like how long do you normally like to train for like in camp?
In and out in the morning, I'll probably do an hour.
Well, what about like in terms of like weeks leading up to the fight? Like what's optimal for you?
I don't really do any more than 6 weeks really.
Okay.
Anything more than that, I start to burn out. I'm always doing a little bit in between fights.
Yeah.
So 6 weeks is more than long enough for me to get prepared for.
So 6 weeks to peak yourself?
Yeah, I'll start to pick it up with 6 weeks out, and then I'll start to train twice a day. And I'll do SNC twice a week. I'll run most days, but I don't run too far. Like a lot of fighters, like they're going out running 7-8 miles and stuff like that. I don't do that. Maybe 5k fast pace, get my heart rate up.
Yeah.
Maybe do that 3 times a week, and the other 2 times I'll just do sprints on treadmill just to get my heart rate in the red zone.
Right.
It's sport specific. You don't fight in short bursts like you do for a long steady jog. You fight in bursts.
Yeah.
So I think stuff like sprint work and stuff like that, getting your heart rate right up, and that's more sport specific for Muay Thai in my opinion. And you know,
100%.
smashing knees in, running on concrete for 7-8 miles every day. I've never got that, to be honest. I know the Thais like swear by it. Go run around park 5 times every morning, run 10k every morning. It's not really sport specific at all, to be fair. The only time I run long distance is if my waist got a bit up. Right. I need to bring it down a little bit, and I'll get a couple
just
of
to burn some calories.
Yeah, but that's about it really. And then in the evening it's it's in England. I'm all dotted about a bit. My boxing trainer's in Liverpool, so I'll go to him twice a week. And
so you have a boxing specific coach as well?
Yeah.
Cool.
I think this helps, especially when I'm finding the MMA gloves in one championship and stuff like that. It helps a lot.
Yeah. Sorry, just to touch on that, do you think there is, I mean, you kind of mentioned it before about the, getting clipped with those gloves and things like that. Do you think that there is an even greater importance to have some boxing training if you're going into like an MMA glove fight?
Yeah, I believe so, because
more than like a normal Muay Thai fight?
Yeah, I believe so. You need to be able to beat, if you comes down to you throwing punches in and shots, a lot of the work we do with my coach is to like beat the punch,
right,
or counter the counter, or throw as they throw, but make sure I'm totally covered up and stuff. And it makes a big difference in the MMA gloves because there's gaps everywhere. Right. You can't just put your hands up, or you put your hands up, or throw a long guard out or something like that, because even when the MMA gloves, the hook's going to come over the top still. So there's little subtle differences that you can't do. So like a lot of the work I do with my boxing coach is like countering and beating the shot to it. So me seeing a shot coming and bang, and then coming straight back, somewhere, which is pretty similar to what I did with my KO the other day. As soon as he stepped, I'd beat him to the shot.
Yeah, for sure.
One little gap, one little split second gap were all I needed to land a shot. So yeah, I think it is. Obviously, when I come to UK Muay Thai, training's a bit different. They've got everything I need in one gym. They've got the boxing coach there. They've got all the great padmen, all the sparring. It's all in the gym at the same time. When I'm training Muay Thai in England, yeah, we've got all my stuff in the gym at the same time there. My S&C, I have to go to another gym. My boxing, I go to another gym. So I'm dotted around a little bit, so it's a bit more difficult in England. But I don't mind driving around because it's worth the trip to wherever I go, because I've got a good team around me.
Nice. So you kind of have like areas of like specialty depending on what you want to target each day.
Yeah.
So you do boxing twice a week, S&C twice a week, and the rest of the time you'd just be in your gym, basically.
Some days I might go boxing in the morning, then Thai boxing at the night. Next day might be S&C in the morning, Thai boxing at the night, and I do it like that. So
how do you feel, coming from the West, how do you feel like the training has kind of diversified itself? I mean, just that on its own, you've got boxing, you've got S&C, you've got Muay Thai. I mean, do you think that there's, more kind of like, what's the word, like an increase in like knowledge in terms of training and things like that?
100%, and it's even happening out here now in Thailand. A lot of the Thais are all doing S&C now, which about a few years ago was unheard of. I've never heard of any Thais doing any sort of S&C until recently. So even the Thais are cottoning onto it now and doing everything they can just get them a little bit extra out of your body to make yourself a bit more stronger, a bit more faster, a bit sharper.
What do you think made S&C so popular? Do you think it was like UFC or?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I've always done a little bit of it, but like now more of the coaches are getting a bit more smarter, and they all know how to get your best at your training to be fight specific and stuff like that. It's a lot better now than it ever has been, to be fair.
Yeah, I think a lot of it, from what I've seen anyways, is that there's a lot of money coming in from UFC, 1FC, things like that. So people have a little bit more income to play around with these things, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so coaches can actually start to do sport-specific combat sports, strength and conditioning.
Yeah.
And I think that's quite a cool thing, 100%. For us, right, being in this industry.
That's like we just said there, one of the main things, there's a bit more money involved in it. Like when I was like 22, 23, just first starting out, I won't be able to afford to go and get a PT twice a week off a real good level S&C coach, because it's not cheap.
Yeah.
You get what you pay for. So if you want the best, you're going to be paying like a decent price for it. When I was that age and I wasn't making too much on the fight money, it might be a bit difficult. Maybe once a week, but twice a week be a bit more difficult. But obviously now, like with more money coming into it, there's more money in the sport. I can do that. I can have that luxury.
Wow, interesting, man. All right, the next thing that I wanted to ask you is. When's your next fight? I want you to just tell us a little bit about that. What's coming up? What's next on the horizon for you?
Next fight, 7th of March, UK, England versus Jeremy Piet. Tough French guy. He had a good fight with Singdam. He knocked Singdam down 2 times before Singdam eventually went to town on him and kneed him to pieces and stopped him.
Whoa.
So he knocked Singdam down twice. He's called Mr. Knockout.
With punches or?
Punches, yeah. He's called Mr. Knockout. He's dangerous.
So this is the next fight coming up?
Yeah, 7th of March.
Wow, interesting. So okay, I don't want to go too much into it, but what's your kind of like mindset going into this fight here?
Well, he's called Mr. Knockout, and he's going to be coming into England. So as much
so it's in England, is it?
It's as much as my coach is not going to want to hear this.
Yeah.
I'm just going to throw down. Let's just see. You know what I mean?
Just see what happens.
There can only be one.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
bro.
but I'm renowned for having power. He's renowned for having power.
Right.
Let's see.
Two power hitters going
let's
together.
See, let's just go bang.
It's going
let's have it.
fireworks. Yeah, dude, that's dope, man. Good. So how long is it now that you've been fighting professionally for?
And my first paid fight when I was 14, so 20 years.
Wow. So 20 years you've been in the sport. It's so cool to see that you still got that spark, you know,
Yeah.
like to just get in there and fight the best of the best, you know, like what do you think it is that's given you this like longevity from a mental standpoint to just keep going?
I don't know, like I said earlier, I'm obsessed with the sport. I love it. I love fighting. I love training. I love everything about it. I love learning. I love teaching. I literally love every aspect of it. So that really, I've never ever been at a point where I thought, you know what, I don't know if I can do this anymore. I love it. Even in like the most toughest and grueling fights, I'll still get out of the ring. Go, you know, that were amazing. It's just there's no adrenaline rush like it at all.
Wow, cool. So you're still chasing that rush?
Yeah.
20 years on.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, man,
There's no drug in the world could ever compete with it. There's no feeling like it when the referee's around at the end, you know, or when you've been stood there with another tough fighter and you've gone absolutely 5 rounds to war and everyone's on their feet clapping you. There's not like it.
Like standing ovation, right? At the end of a 5-round war.
Yeah.
Man. All right, the last thing that I want to say is just like, is there anyone in particular that brings us to the end of our interview? Is there anyone in particular that you want to shout out to, you know?
Just everyone in my team at Bad Company and Yokow Gym and Jitty Gym over the years, everyone who's helped me get to where I am today. All my sponsors, everyone you know they are, thank you for that. And just everyone who's supported me and shown love through watching my fights and enjoyed my fights over the years. Hopefully I've got a few more good years in for me yet as well.
And I'll put a tag for your Instagram. It's at Liam Bagco.
Yeah,
is that right?
Liam Bagco, yeah.
Okay,
Liam
cool.
Bagco.
So I'll put that up for you guys, so you can go and give this man a follow. All right, Liam. Thank you so much, my man.
No problem,
It's been a
mate.
pleasure
Thank
having
you.
you on the
Cheers,
show,
mate.
bro.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, dude.
Cheers, mate.
Hey guys, Steve here. If you like the content, please don't forget to press like and subscribe to stay up to date with the most recent episodes. I'll see you guys on the next one.